How to increase your GCI, right? This is a higher level conversation. 6 strategic levers on how to increase your income. And this is right, like this group is all about thinking bigger, thinking higher, thinking next level, right? It's past just, hey, how do I close deals? Now it's thinking strategically, how do I take my business to the next level? And a big part of that is going to be thinking to myself, how do I earn more income, not just close more deals, right? So I'm going to kind of go through that process. This is something that one of my coaches really put me on 2 years ago. And it totally changed the way that I look at my business, where it's not just about do more deals, do more deals. Yes, you can do more deals and you can earn more income, but it's not just doing more deals. It's also thinking about all the other pieces of the puzzle that bring in your total GCI for the year. So let me share this thing. And it's about working, of course, we're working hard. We're all working hard, but it's about working smart as well. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen here? Okay, perfect. Feel free to stop me, guys. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to make comments, stuff like that. I want this to be interactive, but let's kind of kick off into this. So like I said, the goal today is help agents increase their gross commission income through multiple high-level strategies while introducing ways to earn additional income beyond personal production, right? So I think this is an obvious question. Who wants to make more income every single year, right? We all do, right? So section 1, guys, the mindset shift, right, is you got to stop thinking in just units and deals, but start thinking in income, right? 2 different things, right? You can think just units, hey, close more deals, but you got to start thinking about income, right? So most agents focus only on how many deals they close, because that's the easiest measurement, right? You think about in our business, it's like, oh, how many deals did you close last year? How many deals did you close this month? Like that's the only thing most people talk about. What people rarely talk about is how much income did you earn last year, right? Because what's really the measurement of success? Is it how many deals you closed or how much income you took home? Which one is it?
Income.
Income, right? It's income. So that's really what it's about. And people, sometimes their ego will let them think that just closing deals is what it's about, right? Because if you think about like top producers and all these different things, it goes by like how much deals they close, right? Or how much volume and stuff like that. But they never say, hey, top producer that made the most income. Like no one ever, a lot of times they don't talk about that, right? Okay, so GCI, right? Gross commission income. It's not just about doing more. It's about growing your income without necessarily doubling your workload, right? So finding ways to grow your income without necessarily increasing the work. And there's 6 different ways that we're going to talk about today. And the smartest agents are going to combine multiple of these at once. Because it's not just about picking one thing, right? If you think about growth in your business or in life, if you want to truly grow and you want to grow fast, it's when you could do multiple things. And if they all work at the same time, then you'll get a lot further, right? Than just only doing one thing, right? I'll give you an example. I always talk about working out, right? So if you work out in the gym, right? Okay, you just lift weights. Great, you lift weights. Okay, you're going to get stronger if you lift weights, right? But if you lift weights and you also do cardio and you also follow a diet plan and you also follow a workout plan that has you challenging yourself in different exercises or consistently, adding, weight or strength and stuff like that, now you have like 3 different things that are working in your favor. So if your goal is to get healthy, you're going to get healthy a lot faster, right? Or if your goal is to get in shape, you're going to get in shape a lot faster because you're doing all 3 of these things at once versus just focusing on one. Does that make sense? Right? And so I want you to think of your business that way, right? If you're doing multiple of these things in a strategic way, it'll take your income higher a lot faster. And I'll show you guys some examples of this, okay? So that's the mindset shift, right? Just to set the stage of what we're going over. Now let's talk about some of the ways, right? These are the core ways that you can increase your GCI. So the first one and the most obvious is just close more deals, right? Last year I closed 5 deals. This year I closed 10 deals. Naturally, 10 is more than 5, my income is going to go up, right? We know that. So you can definitely do that, right? But at a certain point, there's only so many deals you can close, right? Because time starts working against you, right? Like if you're already closing 20 deals a year, you're going to be limited by certain factors, time, leverage, all these different things. So that's where you got to add other strategies to get you from 20 to 30. If you're only doing 5, then you can get to 10, right? But it's going to start working against you at one point. So more units does equal more income. That requires a stronger pipeline, requires consistent follow-up, and it requires systems that are going to allow you to close more deals, right? And so what's the strategy behind that, right? Speed to lead, improve your conversion, scripts, blocking out time, right? It's what we typically talk about a lot in the office, right? Activity and skill. If you put more activity in, more consistent follow-up, and your skills increase, well, then you're naturally going to be able to close more deals when you're out meeting with people, right? And so that's the most basic one, right? So I want most of you guys to understand that one. Raise your hand if you have questions, guys. Number 2 is going to be increasing your average price point. This is where now you're starting to look at this strategically, right? I remember Dev said, hey, I want to close deals in the 2 million range. Well, yeah, that's a great idea, because if all his other deals were in the 1 million range and now he's in the 2 million range, even if he closed the same amount of deals, now his income went up just because it's a bigger deal, right? So more expensive homes equals more GCI per deal with the same effort. Is it the same steps to close a $1 million deal versus a $2 million deal? It's the same thing, right? I mean, you're showing a house, you're writing an offer, if it's a buyer, right? It's not necessarily anything different that you're doing in your process, but the paycheck is double the paycheck because it's twice the size, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, right? How do you increase your average price point? Well, number 1 is you got to go out there and market to higher price point buyers and sellers, right? The marketing that you put out, the people that you surround yourself with, the open houses that you work, right? The online credibility that you build, right? Like if you sold a home in Los Altos, you can leverage that home to start advertising or marketing that home online, on social media, making that part of your marketing, and leveraging that sale to go find other buyers or sellers who are buying in Los Altos, selling in Los Altos, right? Spending time where higher price point clients spend time. So if you want to tap into these neighborhoods, and these type of buyers, where should you be hanging out on the weekends? Right? Like, I love Mexican food from East San Jose, but if my goal is to tap into the Los Gatos market, maybe instead of Mexican food in East San Jose, I'm going to a nice restaurant in Los Gatos, or I'm spending my weekends there, or I'm going to the dog park there, or I'm, going to shopping there, right? Because I'm naturally going to be rubbing elbows with people who frequent those neighborhoods. I remember a buddy of mine, Joe Velasco, you guys all heard of him or know who he is. He's talked about this many times in his journey. When he wanted to tap into the luxury market, he got a membership to like some yacht club or something in Los Altos or one of these places, right? And then he would go hang out there, and then he would meet people there, right? And he'd have lunch there, and he'd be there all the time. And then now he's getting clients there, right? Mm-hmm. Or he got a member out of the country club, right? He invested, and said, hey, this is a strategic move to invest into a membership at a country club. And now I'm meeting those types of people. And then next thing you know, now he's doing business with them, right? So he's talked about that a lot, and that's allowed him to jump into those price points. Even events, like where he's thinking, where should I go? There's an event coming up. There's events like recently there was an event, like a luxury car event. Who saw that? It was like a week or two ago, right? Did you go to that? Carmel. Okay. Well, what kind of people drive luxury cars, right? Like people who, if they have these really expensive cars, they're probably into that, lifestyle or those price points. So if you're out there connecting with people, networking with people, that can open up opportunities to tap into these neighborhoods, right? It's not necessarily anything rocket science, guys. It's just shifting your focus and saying, this is what I want to do. And then making sure that that's part of your ongoing plan. And then naturally, these price points will increase. Okay. Any questions on number 2? Increasing your average price point. Okay. Number 3, this is something that sometimes we don't realize, is you can charge more per deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can, when you go take on a buyer or a seller, understanding the numbers of what you're charging and what you're going to take home before you go out and say, hey, this is my commission, or these are my fees or my services, simply taking time to run the calculator, right? And understand how those numbers work. And then you can say, okay, hey, this is what I was normally charging, but if I just charge a little bit more because I know I'm going to give more value, I gave myself a raise right there, right?
Oh.
Sometimes it's not charging a whole 1% more. Sometimes it's charging 0.25% more on every deal, because those all compound, right? If I close 10 deals and I have 0.25% more on each one, that's all going to add up over time, right? And so commission leaks, we call these leaks in your commission, they happen when agents just give in too easily, where they go in and I think, some of us might have been guilty of this, right? That's why you're laughing. Where the client's like, I want you to lower the commission. And you're like, okay, right? Instead of figuring out a way to, mitigate that or sell your services, or maybe instead of like dropping 1%, you say, okay, hey, I'll drop 0.25%, right? And then now you didn't give away a whole 1% of your commission, right? I think sometimes we don't know that you don't have to drop a percentage. Does everybody know that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if your fee's 3%, let's say, this is a good example. If your commission's 3% and you're having to negotiate with the client, you don't have to go to 2.5. You can go to 2.9.
Yeah.
You can go
2.8.
to 2.8. Or you can say, hey, look I'll tell you what, I really want to help you. My fee's 3%. I'll give you $1,000 off. I'll give you $500 off. Right? And then when you do the percentage, $500 is probably like 0.01%. But some agents automatically think, okay, I'll drop it to 2.5, or I'll drop it to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they can just give up all this commission when you don't have to do that, right? Dev, what you got?
Yeah, so in that case, we would just write like whatever X number, like that's $1,000 to be credited towards buyer closing costs. Is that how we would kind of?
Yeah, you could do that, or you can write the verbiage, right? $1,000 to be discounted from the commission at close of escrow, right? You can do anything like that, right? You just got to put the verbiage in there, and they see it in writing. They're like, okay, great. Because remember, sometimes clients just want to feel like they got to win.
Exactly.
Right? Richa, what you got? Or you're saying thumbs
No, I
up?
said good point. I
Yeah.
said good point. It's a good point to say just $1,000 towards the closing costs right away, so that everything is set in their mind as well.
Exactly, right? Because if you start giving up percentages, think about it. If you're only earning 3% and you give up 0.5%, that's a big chunk if you only got 3% to work with, right?
And especially if you're also doing the referral to Zillow or any other online. Yeah.
Or if you're paying for other stuff, if it's a listing and you're paying for staging and marketing and all that, and you're giving it, right? Like next thing you know, your commission at the end of the day, you're like, where did it go? Right? Blanca, you and I experienced this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, why is it so low? I'm like, well, you charged less and Zillow got a fee and you promised to pay for all these things. When you add all those 3 things in, that ate up half the commission right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is where
reminds-
like understanding it, right?
This reminds me of asking for that additional $1,000, $995
Mhm.
ahead of time, also, including in the 2.5 everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's different ways to do it, right? And when we would charge $995, or an admin fee, all that was just adding more commission. That was using strategy number 3 of charging more per deal. I don't know if you guys realize that, but that's something that my coach taught me.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine like if we did 100 deals in a year as a team and we charged $1,000 extra fee, that's $100,000 more in commission that was added to the pot. So that's a strategy to charge more. And sometimes that's easier to sell it that way versus like a higher percentage, right? Sometimes it's all how you deliver it. And so you got to make sure you deliver this stuff with confidence. You have to practice your objection handling, and you have to understand how these things work. Because if you're going to have these battles or you're going to try to charge more commission, you have to know how to explain it and navigate the talk track, right? And then you have to have the track record and process to back it up. Because to get someone to pay a little bit more, you need to make sure you're bringing your A game to the table so they see why they're paying more, right? Setting clear expectations at the appointments. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is why you want to go with me. This is why my fee is a little bit more. I can't speak for the other company that you're interviewing, but look at my reviews, look at my track record, look at the result I got from the last sale, and you get me. Look how good we're hitting it off. This is why I'm 0.5% more than everybody else, right? You're going to get way better results. But if you can't say that confidently, and if you don't know your stuff confidently, then you're not going to be able to charge more. That's just the bottom line, right?
No.
It's going to be very hard for you. Okay. Let's move forward. Generating more referrals from clients, right? If you start thinking about every deal I close, how do I get 2 more deals out of that? Right? So Mark, if I said, hey, Mark, going forward, every client you close, you need to absolutely get 2 referrals in the first year. What would your mind start thinking? Like, where would your mind go?
2 referrals in general. I'd go back to like maybe a listing I just closed for a client or a buyer I already got in contract and ask if they know anyone else within their sphere that's currently in the market or trying to sell.
Correct, right? So asking, right? Just straight up asking for referrals, right? Like if you're challenged, right? If everyone was challenged, hey, going forward, I want you to now make this part of your business strategy that every time you close a deal, you get 2 referrals, right? From that client, right? If I close 10 deals this year, I'm getting 2 referrals from all 10 of those. That's 20 referrals that I'm getting. Now you start thinking, okay, well, I got to start asking for the referral. How do I stay in touch with them? How do I make sure that I delivered a great experience so that they would want to give me referrals, right? How do I now, leverage that relationship to get more referrals? Maybe let's say your client owns a business. How do I maybe support their business so that I can be in their circle and start getting referrals from that client, right? Especially if your clients own businesses or they're in like other industries, like how do I maybe I do a video where I showcase their thing, right? Because that helps create value with them. And then now they're going to want to give me a referral. So all these are strategies, where it's not rocket science. It's just being intentional about, hey, I want to go get referrals, right? But asking during the transaction, not just after. Let me ask you this. When you're working with the buyer, when is the buyer the happiest? When do you deliver the best news to the buyer? There's 2 different times, I think, that you deliver great news.
Offer accepted.
Accepted and keys, handing over the key.
Okay, exactly. When their offer is accepted, we jump on that call, right? Hey, great news, guys, right? Sometimes we even play tricks. Hey, guys, not so good news, right? But your offer got accepted, right? Imagine if you recorded that moment and use that as a video so that other people get to see that. And then imagine if when you deliver that news, the client is at their happiest, it's a happy moment, you ask for referrals at that time. Hey guys, I hope, offer accepted, great news, right? Celebrate that, go through that, give them all the details. But then at the end, hey guys, before I let you go, I know, this is great news. Hopefully you guys see the value so far in working with me. By any chance, I want to be able to deliver the same experience to other people just like you. Is there anybody you could think of right now that would like this same experience with buying or selling? So asking for it at that pinnacle moment, the client will feel like almost obligated to like start thinking like, oh shit, who do I know? Right? But let me ask you guys, how many times have you guys asked for a referral when their offer gets accepted? By a show of hands.
Mm-mm.
Zero.
No. If anything, you might ask at the end, right?
And
Okay, so now that I got your radar, going, right? You now must ask at every happy moment.
Yeah.
Hey, you just got pre-approved. Good luck. Good news. Steve just got back to us. He said your loan's pre-approved. It's fully underwritten, blah, blah, blah. All contingencies are clear. We remove conditions, right? Imagine there's other moments in the transaction. Off pre-approval, offer accepted, all contingencies removed, clear to close, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end, when you're handing keys, right? Maybe you have a housewarming little party or you go give them a gift and you ask for referrals at that time. But this is something my coach taught me is you need to ask for referrals at least 4 or 5 times throughout that transaction. Imagine if you now did that on every single client and you tracked it. Imagine if you tracked it. If you had a little spreadsheet or you had a little task list, you can do this in Follow-Up Boss, right? You can create a task, ask for referral at this point, and you can name them. Ask for referral at offer accepted, ask for referral at contingencies removed, ask for a referral at close of escrow, ask for referral after close of escrow. And imagine if you put a task list on your Follow-Up Boss, and then your job was just to check those off and make sure you ask for those. And you did that with every single client. Do you think you would get more referrals? 100%, right? And so a lot of these opportunities, we're missing them just because we're just not doing it, right? We're not asking, right? Okay, so I hope I drove the point home, but this is a huge one right here, guys, that it's not rocket science. It's just opening your mind to this is what I got to do, right? Okay, number 5, moving up in our tiered commission structure. So everybody knows we have a commission structure, a tier, right? So higher tiers equals higher splits equals more money per deal, right? So this is your strategy. Number 1 is you got to know what tier you're in and what it's going to take for you to get to the next tier, right? Like Mark, you and I have met, right? And I remember Mark asked me, hey, can we look at my numbers? Where I want to see what I need to do so I can get a raise on my commission split. And we went over it and we tracked those numbers. And I think Mark had to close maybe like 2 more deals that would move him up to the next tier, right? So knowing what tier you're in, being able to track those numbers and kind of look at those numbers on your own rather than just waiting for Enrique, right? I mean, I'm happy to sit down with you, but if you took control of that and you look at your numbers, your GCI, all that stuff, and then okay, hey, I'm like right there. So this way you get that promotion as quickly as possible. That right there is going to give you a pay raise. That's going to give you more GCI per deal, right?
It's based on GCI?
Based on GCI. Yeah. Based on GCI, right? So whatever GCI you've done in the last 12 months, we take the average 12 months, and then whatever tier you fall in, that's your commission split there. And so as you do more deals and your averages move up, then you get paid more, right? So just knowing where you're at and knowing where you got to go, that's a huge piece so that you can consistently make more money per each deal. Okay. Additional income streams. This is something that we sometimes don't realize or don't even look at, but these are 2 huge ways that you can earn more income. Some of you guys are doing this now. Some of you guys haven't. I know, Richa, you had asked about attracting agents, right? But number 1 is leadership, right? You can attract agents to EXP, whether they join our team or whether they just join EXP in general, but you brought them in. You can be their sponsor. EXP now allows 2 sponsors. They have a co-sponsor program. So let's say like another agent at EXP and you're like, hey, let's both work together to try to bring agents to EXP. You can do that. But basically, as you bring agents in, if they start performing and closing deals, you're going to make revenue share from EXP. They share in the profit with you. And so you're building leverage income. This is leverage, right? Because once you bring them in, you're not necessarily having to help them produce. So to say, if they join our team, they're going to enroll in our trainings, our processes, our leads. So by you just getting them to our team, we handle a lot of that stuff for you, of getting these people, up and running. And so the strategy is, here's the strategies. When you're talking to agents, share what's working for you and the value of our team or our organization or our brokerage, right? You guys are all out there talking to agents all the time. You're talking to agents when you got listings, when you got buyers, you know, other agents in the industry. Turn your radar on, like, hey, is this an opportunity to bring this agent into my revenue share group, right? And the way you do that is by helping them produce more, right? Agents want to be attracted to a place where they can increase their production. So if you're like, hey, you know, if you're like, hey, what's working for me is like, hey, we got these trainings every week that are really valuable. We have, you know, leads coming in. We have a really good culture. Like, you know, it's really helped me grow and stuff like that. You're sharing your success and your wins, which is going to entice that agent to want to come check it out. And then you can invite them to our team trainings and our masterminds. If you have an agent who's like at this level, invite them to this training, right? If you have an agent who's already closing some deals, right, and they want to, you know, get up to top producer status, invite them. Hey, we have trainings every Thursday. We have a sales meeting every Tuesday. You can come in person or you can join online, but it'd be worth it for you to kind of see how we do it and see if you can learn a few things, right? Invite them to a call with me, right? If you invite them and I jump on the call with them and they join, they're going to go under you, right? So you get that credit, but you're using us and all the resources you have to attract that agent. So I don't want you guys necessarily doing the heavy lifting. All you're doing is connecting the people to the resources you already have here. You know, if these are agents that you think, hey, like I get along really well with this agent, they seem really cool, they seem like they would fit in perfect with our group. Well, those are the type of agents that we want to attract, right? People who align with our culture and our model. We want to try to bring those types of people in. And the good thing is that revenue share is passive income and it's earned, you know, forever, as long as those agents close deals and as long as they remain with the brokerage. It's something where that's just like you're going to earn a little check here and there, right? And that builds over time. What we're doing now too, guys, just FYI, for some of our top producers. So once you get up to like a mentor status on our team, so far, Blanca, Rob, and then Mark and Shri are the two new kind of mentors on our team that are getting groomed right now. We're going to start putting some of our new recruits under you guys for revenue share. So you guys may have seen some already, but as we attract new agents, we're having them list you guys as the sponsor. So the better you do with our team and the more you move up the ranks and you show, hey, like I'm really, you know, here for the vision and I want to help the group, then we're going to reward you guys by putting some of these people under you and helping you grow your revenue share as well, right? So it's extra income, extra stuff that can help you build over time. Any questions here on this part of it, the attracting agents to EXP? Richa, I know you asked, you know, you had messaged me, right? Does this give you some ideas now of how to do this?
Yes, yeah. Is there a form that we need to fill out beforehand or just the email introduction, message introduction, right?
Just message introduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the easiest way, there's two ways that I've seen. Put them on a text thread with me. Hey, Enrique, please meet John. You know, he's a great agent. I talked to him. You know, he wants to know more about our team. Can you guys please connect? And then I'll take it from there, right? I'll call him. I'll set up a time to meet with him or talk to him. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite him to our team meeting. So you can do that, or you can skip that step and just invite John to our team meeting. And then he can join on Tuesday. He can come in person. Or he can join Thursday to one of these trainings online. So either online or in person. And then from there, then you can set up the call. Hey, John attended our training. You know, he really liked it. You know, he wants to talk to you more. And then you connect us, you know, on a call.
Okay.
Right?
And since there are two sponsors, so whoever I bring in, I can be the sponsor for them as well as one more person from the team itself.
So co-sponsor is optional. You don't have to co-sponsor. So if you bring someone in, they're just going to go under you.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it. If you run into a situation where they want to be sponsored by like two different, you know, agents at EXP, then that's an option. But typically the first option is you brought them in, they go under you. That's it.
Okay.
You're the main sponsor.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys, on this, the attracting agents part? Okay. Mentoring agents. This is another one. Mentoring agents on our team, right? So as you start to perform and do better, like Mark and Shri have been with us for a little while now. They've climbed up the ranks. They know our systems. They know our process. They're committed to the team. They're bought in, like they take their business serious. So now we're promoting them to mentors on our team as well. So now when we bring in new agents that need to go through mentorship for their first 3 deals, they can work with Blanca, Mark, Shri, Rob. And then on those first 3 deals, they have to split 50-50 with the mentor, right? So that's part of, the policy for EXP and for our team to try to get agents trained correctly. And so now Mark, for example, where Mark was only relying on his own production, now Mark gets to help other agents and gets to earn commission on that. Perfect example is right now, Mark is helping Brendan. Brendan is buying a house. Brendan hasn't closed any deals, right? So I put Mark on that one. Now Mark's a senior agent. He's assisting Brendan. They're in contract, and now that commission is going to be split between Brendan and Mark. So now that's extra revenue outside of Mark's personal production, right? And so when you show up as a leader on our team and you continue to, show your commitment and show that our systems, and that you're doing a great job and you can lead by example, then we're going to see that and we're going to want to promote you and say, okay, you could be a new mentor on our team. Because as we scale, as we grow, like Blanca, for example, is a mentor, but she's busy a lot of times, right? Sometimes she's like, she's always wants to help, but sometimes it just, the schedule doesn't align. She's like, I'm swamped. Is anybody else available? And when she is available, then she says, yeah, put me on the deal. Right.
Yeah.
Blanca, how has this helped you right here? I think you're probably the best person to ask. How has this helped your income and your opportunities?
Well, of course it's helped the income, tremendously, because you're partnering up, you're helping someone, you're sharing the transaction. They're also growing. And then sometimes I'm the one letting the agents know, like, you're ready to go on your own. And they're like, no, not yet. And I'm like, yes, you are. So sometimes they're like, well, I still want you to help me, a little bit, which is absolutely fine. But as a mentor, you also need to, I love doing that because I know they don't need to share this with anybody. They got this on their own. Maybe they're just feeling a little uneasy, but I have no problem feeling very confident, just letting them know it's time for you to spread your wings and do this on your own. But it's I feel having this system at PRG for the senior agents it's great. I don't know if any other teams have it, but this is really good for us as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Blanca and Rob, especially, since they've been with us for so long and they've been leaders on our team, they've helped so many agents close deals, right? Where not only are they helping the agent get the experience, they're helping the agent make sure the deal closes, but then they also benefit because they earn the half the commission on that deal, which adds to their total GCI, right? The whole point of this training was, how do I grow my total GCI, my total income?
Yeah.
And, we can look back, and when we run our numbers, we can say, hey, look at this is how much you did on your own, but then this is how much you earned from other agents putting you on their deals. And then you add those together, and that creates a consistent, it's like another revenue stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so and it even goes further. There's more stuff that we can talk about on this. Like we could do a whole training just on this, but the point I want you guys to get is that this is an option for you guys as you guys start to climb up. This is definitely something that you want to add to your tool belt. Okay, we're coming up soon on time, so I'm going to just run through the last little section. So let's show an example of how this gets put into action, right? Because I think sometimes like talking about it is great, but let's show a real example. So this is a sample agent, 2024. They closed 10 deals at an $800,000 average price point, $200,000 in GCI. That was the GCI. They were at a 70-30 split, so they made 140,000, right? Because they got 70% of that. So that's comparing their last year. And then if they were to implement all of these things, what would happen to their income? So now let's look at the same agent in 2025. So they did 12 deals. So they did more deals, right? Which was one of the pillars, one of the levers. they increased their average price point to 1.1. So they only did 2 more deals, but they did bigger deals. And so now their GCI was 363,000, right? They moved up to a higher split because they've closed more deals. So now they're getting 80% instead of 70. So now their income is 290,000 versus 140 last year, right? And all they did was 2 more deals. Then they became a mentor on our team, right? And they helped one agent on their first 3 deals, and they earned $25,000 in commission from those 3 deals that they split with the new agent. They also sponsored 2 agents, brought in 2 agents to EXP, and they earned $6,000 in revenue share that year. So this is an example of someone doing all 6 of these pillars, these levers, right? And applying that towards their business. And look at their income growth. They went from 140,000 in 2024 to 321,000 in 2025. That's 129% increase in their GCI. I think the one that we didn't even talk about, I don't know if it's factored in here, was if they charged more per deal, right? But this is just going to show, like, it's not just closing more deals, guys, right? It's doing all those things, and where you see a dramatic increase in their income, right? Going from 140 to 321,000, is that a huge increase, guys, year over year? Huge, right? You know, so sometimes we're looking like, well, how do I make more money? I just got to work harder. It's like, well, no, you got to work smarter too, right? Like strategically do these things in your business so that all of them kind of stack up and they all make this dramatic effect. We call this like quantum growth in your income, right? It's not just linear, right? It's like you're hitting all these different check marks, and that's growing your stuff like exponentially, right? Any questions on this right here, guys? Do you guys see how this is outlined? Okay, so we're gonna come to a close, right? Actually, you guys got 5 more minutes? Okay, 5 minutes. Hidden ways that agents lose commission, right? We kind of talked about this a little bit, but discounting your value to win listings, right? So remember, we don't want to just discount stuff. We want to fight for our commission because all of that stuff adds up. Letting buyers go unrepresented, right? So you meet with a buyer, you don't do the BRBC, right? Where they're like now tied to you, and then next thing you know, now they're shopping with some other agent because you forgot like to get them to sign with you, right? Not following up with past clients. This one hurts, guys, where you don't follow up with people and then you happen to call them and they sold their house with somebody else. Like that. Don't be a victim of that, guys. We see this happen all the time, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. Blanca, how many listings have you taken that they bought the house with somebody else?
Oh yeah. All of them.
Almost all of them, right?
All of them. Well, yeah, except for my repeat client, of course, the one that I helped, sell twice. But yeah, no, most of them, they're new clients that bought with somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So think about that. All of those sellers bought with someone else. So that means that agent did not follow up with their past client and keep that client to sell that listing.
Yeah.
Right. And Blanca came in and swooped. It happens all the time, right? So don't be that agent. Anybody you help buy a house, you need to make sure you stay in touch with them so that when it's time to sell, you're the one who sells that house, right? Because this happens all the time in our industry. Commission leaks, not tracking your commission split progress. So not knowing what tier you're at, not having any clue of where your GCI is for the year, not having any clue of what you need to do to move to the next tier. This is where like you're losing opportunity right here, right? So a lot of ways that you can just give up commission. Okay. So final takeaway, guys. I know I gave you guys a lot of stuff to think about. This will be recorded. I can send you this document too if you want to be able to reference it back. But my question for you guys is, out of the 6 different income levers, which one are you taking advantage of consistently? And which one are you ignoring? That's my question, and we're going to end with that, right? So we talked about the 6 different ways. Let me refresh your memory, right? Closing more deals, increasing my price point, charging more per deal, getting referrals, moving up in my split, leveraging, other agents. So which one are you taking advantage of, and which one are you're like, man, I gotta really start adding this in? That's my question to you guys. Let's go around the room real quick. Just unmute yourself and throw out your ideas.
I'll go.
Blanca.
For me, it's asking more for the referral. I usually do it at the end, but that's a great point. There's a lot of victory points throughout the transaction where you can definitely ask or remind. So that one's definitely one. And then moving up my price point is, going to locations, like you said, that I want to target or I want to tap into, or just kind of get my foot in the door and also learn about that area.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, those are 2 that are pretty important. I feel like I'm pretty good at the follow-up, though. I do have a really good referral system from my past clients, but it can be better. I can definitely fine-tune it. I do probably have maybe 3 clients that I know that I helped buy that resold and didn't sell with me. And it was probably just because I wasn't there at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great observation. So I think, remember, like, to make it simple, if there's one takeaway that I would say is just start asking for more referrals, right? Because you do a good job of following up, but you may not be intentionally asking at those crucial moments, right? I bet you if you only did that and just made that a focus, you would see an increase in your deals just from that, right? And obviously price point, that's something that over time you can do, but I think those are great observations. All right, who else got some feedback? What's something that you need to add based off what you see?
I think based off what I see, I need there is a room on each and every level for me.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
referrals to asking for the admin and TC fee, to adding the agents in the pipeline and growing their revenue share, to all that, and referrals, of course, it's a top priority.
Got it. So if there was just one, right? Because trying to do all 6 is kind of hard, but if there was just one that you can immediately start implementing, what do you think it would be?
Referral.
Referral. Yeah, definitely.
Asking the past client, 2 referrals.
Absolutely. Mark, what you got?
I think I've actually been kind of tapping into each one of these pretty decently as I've kind of grown as an agent, but I think the one that I could probably do the more of is generating more referrals. I haven't gotten like one referral from a client that I've helped close that then referred to another person yet. So I think maximizing that or figuring out how to maximize that would be most advantageous of all of them.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Dev, you got anything?
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing that I probably need to improve on is probably charging more, just pretty much pricing a little bit better, negotiating on my services a little bit better is probably my number one thing I need to improve on. As far as something that I'm probably already doing probably okay on is the higher price points. I know all areas, probably from Palo Alto probably into Los Altos, like almost every street. So I don't think like price point is the issue. It's just specifically like making sure that I can negotiate my side of the commission a little bit more at a higher level.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good takeaway, right? Knowing how to set your value, knowing how to negotiate so you don't have to give up commissions, right? When it's time to close.
Exactly.
Any final takeaways, guys? Any final questions?
Good stuff.
All right, guys. So I know it's a lot. Try to hone in on that one thing, guys, because it's hard to do everything. But try to look for, like, when we do these trainings, what's the one takeaway? What's the one thing I can go out there and implement? And then try to write it down somewhere, right? Maybe you put a note to yourself. Maybe that becomes part of your process. Maybe you update your script, whatever you're doing, right? Use follow-up boss, right? Stuff like that. This way, you're not just relying on memory, because memory, you're going to forget, right? But that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys got some value. Let me know if you need anything. And And then if you guys need to book any one-on-ones with me or anything to go over any of this specifically for you, hit me up.